challenge. You never know what you're going to be doing from one day to the next. I mean, it's all sort of like, design related, but I mean, one day you could be doing a business card, next day you could be doing a banner or a shop sign or something like that. So it's always different, always something different to think about, different challenge, different processes that you need to use to produce the finished result. So it's that variety is the key to it. You never quite know what you're going to get, stuck with as a challenge. People ring you up and ask you some of the bizarrest questions of what to design things for, and it's just that sort of like mystery in a way. You never quite know what you're going to get the next day, or the next phone call. So it's always interesting. There's always something new to learn. New people to deal with, new sort of like ideas of what they think is good and bad design. So there's always something new, something novel going on. So it's that challenge that I like. I went to college originally, and I started out working for a little tiny design company, which was also a silkscreen printer. So that's where I learned silkscreen printing. But I then worked various of the London advertising agencies as an art director and head of typography in one, and just worked through two or three of them. I mean, they were all three-letter initials at the time. It was ridiculous. The whole sort of like London advertising agency scene was big noise at the time. And one of the ones I was working for was taken over by another company. Basically, they wanted the client list, and I was made an offer by one of the account execs to go self-employed because he had a project that wasn't going to go into the new combined company. And I spent 2 years literally working on Mason Wavy Line supermarket products and never looked back. So it was a complete fluke. I was made an offer that I couldn't understand, so I took it. That is a tricky one, partly because the industry has changed radically in the last few years as a result of social media and stuff like that. When I started out, it was purely designed for print, so it was pretty simple stuff. You learned how print worked and you designed for it. But as even social media gives you opportunities as well as challenges. They're just different, and you have to learn different processes and how a lot of it works. But I mean, I suppose the trick with any of it is to try and soak up everything that's around you. Be observant, because that's where the creativity comes from. Learning the technical stuff is relatively simple stuff to do. It's being creative and coming up with something different. I always try and challenge clients with something that may be a bit off the wall that they hadn't thought about, and try and come up with a way of doing something rather that hasn't been done before. And that takes being observant, being awake to what's around you, and then being able to sort of like toe different influences and sort of like mash them together in some way or other. So it's being... Creativity is a really weird thing. You can't sort of quantify it, but creativity is what people are looking for all the time, a new way of doing something or other, and that basically takes being awake to the world around you and just like, picking up on influences and being able to sort of store things away and then go, oh, I wonder if that would work with that, so, and just be experimental, just play with things and see what works. And if you've got a reputation for being creative, you never have to look back. People will always come to you because they realise that you're going to come up with something that they couldn't.